Are you ready to keep a tidy home? A lot of us are terrified that someone may pop by without warning, like in the good old days, because our house looks like a tornado came through it and we're embarrassed. We definitely used to be this way. Our house would just kind of fall apart during the week, and then we would spend half of our weekend trying to put it back together by cleaning and catching up on laundry. And we hadn't created the habits that we needed to maintain a tidy home throughout the week. So, over the last several years, we have been creating the habits and the routines that we needed to maintain that tidy home without too much effort because I also didn't want to feel like I was constantly cleaning either. So, not only does our house stay company ready, or at least very close to it with these habits and routines that we have put in place, but it also makes cleaning easier when it's time to clean our home and it's given us back those weekends. So, I hope you're ready because today I am sharing with you 4 habits for tidier living. Are you ready to stop the chaos, the stress, the overwhelm that's filling your life? I'm Renee Matt, and together you and I are going to build simple routines that are going to change your life. When you put these habits into practice, you're going to be able to organize your life in a way where you can be there for your family, pay off your debt, save money, your house can stay organized, you don't have to stress about what's for dinner, and you still get time for yourself. So without further ado, let's get started. Welcome to the Routine Advantage podcast.
That was really helpful. The point about remembering to schedule something that you look forward to use as a motivation, kind of a, what do you call it, something dangling in front of you to make you motivated to do the other things during the week so that you have something to look forward to. I always forget that. But that is a really good tip that I think people should really think about. And you reminded me of and makes me want to go get my planner and schedule my next date with my husband. Thank you. Love your podcast.
Big thank you to Margot for leaving that SpeakPipe review. If you want to leave your own audio testimonial or review, you certainly can do that. You can go to speakpipe.com/slash the routine advantage podcast, or the link is also in our show notes. So, getting to our episode today, I never really wanted to feel like I was cleaning nonstop, but I needed to create habits to have a tidy home because I hated the feeling of not being able to just have people pop by. And I know it's not really common, especially with us. I suppose it depends on your community, but we don't really have a lot of people just stopping by randomly. Occasionally, one of my sisters will just stop by for something quick, but normally they're texting a quick heads up or something like that. And I think most people do. But even if somebody is in your area and it's like, hey, I'm going to be around in, 5-10 minutes, are you available? We want to be able to not panic. We want to be able to, even if our house is not fully company ready, we want it to be close to company ready where we're comfortable enough to let people come in and enjoy time with loved ones rather than panicking and being embarrassed about the state of our home. So it's just setting those habits that even if it's not perfect, because we don't want a perfect home all the time either. We want to live in our home and enjoy the space. And that is going to mean that we're going to be making some messes sometimes. But if we can set up habits that help reset those messes quickly, we can start to have a tidier home. And when I say tidy versus clean, what I mean is that when you are keeping a tidy home, you're keeping things clutter free or put things in their place, things like that, where you can look at the space and it's not messy. When you're looking at cleaning your home, you're doing more of the nitty-gritty, getting in and getting the dirt out of there. So that's where I had look at the difference between tidy versus clean. And we want to be cleaning our home, but that is probably going to be much less often than tidying our home. Tidying is kind of this constant state of just resetting and doing things, but you're doing them without thinking about them once you build these habits in. Where cleaning is a little bit more of a process where it's like, okay, I'm going to set aside a little chunk of time and I'm going to clean this. I'm pulling out the cleaners and I'm pulling out the rags and I'm actually like disinfecting, I'm cleaning this space versus just resetting it and putting some things away. So if you can kind of think about tidy versus cleaning that way, that's kind of what I'm talking about here. So I want to go into 4 habits for tidy living. Number 1, Don't put it down, put it away. I heard this, I can't even remember where I heard it, but I loved this concept. I wish I could remember so I could give them credit, but I love this concept because it makes such a big difference. We often will put something down just out of just habit that we're just setting it somewhere, whether it's, a collection space, maybe it's your kitchen table, maybe it's a counter. You just it's kind of a drop zone where it's not an official drop zone, it's kind of a default drop zone where things just get kind of dumped. And we don't want to do this. So instead of putting something down just at a random spot, we want to think about not putting it down, but actually putting it away. So you can think about this for your mail, keys, clothes. Maybe you're changing, and instead of tossing something on the bed or on a bench or a chair that's in your room, you have hooks inside of your closet and you can just hook them and hang them up so they are not necessarily hanging with your clean clothes because you want to wear them again, but they're not being dropped and dumped somewhere else in the room and creating kind of a mess. You're also looking at maybe toys. Maybe you're teaching your kids to put away their toys before they walk out of the toy room. Maybe it is dishes. Like if you are having a quick meal and you don't have time to, necessarily wash the dishes, then do a quick rinse and set them in the sink if you don't have a dishwasher, or do a quick rinse and put them in the dishwasher. Or if you have time, do a quick wash and just let them air dry and be done with it. So it's things like that where you're not putting it down to have to take care of later. You're just going through the steps of putting it away so then it lessens the load of having to tidy up all of those things later on. It ends up making less work for you when you are putting it away first. A lot of times you think about it, it's like, oh, well, if I put it away now, that's more work. I'll just do it later. But you're by setting something down and having to do it later, you tend to do this over and over. And then all of a sudden, you have all this work for you to have to clean up. When if we would have just put it away first, we would have saved us a lot of work and time. So just getting it in your head to don't put it down, put it away. This also includes things like your blankets after a movie night. Just pick them up, fold them, and either if you put them on the couch, then set them back on the couch and just make sure they're reset where they go. Or if you put them into, a linen closet, then put them away. So that is a huge thing. Maybe it's also snacks. Like if you're pulling snacks out of the cabinet or out of the pantry, and you tend to just leave them on the counter and then you have this mess on the counter that you have to clean up later, just get in the habit of having your snack and then putting those things back right away. So then you don't have to clean it up later and it stays tidy. The second habit is to create a home for everything and use it. So this goes kind of hand in hand with the don't put it down, put it away, because if you have a home for everything, you know exactly where it needs to go. That's one of the big struggles that we have when we are trying to keep things tidy is that if we have so much stuff that we don't have a home for everything, you kind of get lost because you don't know what to do with something and you aren't sure where to put it. And that's where we get ourselves into trouble. So, what we really want to do is to find a home for everything. And if it doesn't have a home, we need to create one or we need to consider getting rid of the item. Do we really need it if we don't have space for it? So it's just kind of shifting things around and changing how we do things and making sure everything has its place. So if you are looking at a space where it's okay, I need to put, say it's your batteries, you need a space for batteries. If you are not sure where they go and some are getting tossed in a junk drawer, some are getting tossed in a cabinet, some are in your utility closet, like you want one central space for all batteries. So if you need a battery, you know exactly where to go. Well, if we need to have a space in the utility closet, then we need to go through that and see, okay, this is the spot for batteries. Where can we fit this and where does everything else need to go if we create this spot for batteries? Can we get rid of some of this stuff? Do we need all of it? Does it need to be organized a little bit more? So you're just looking at specific spaces in your home to see what you might need to just get rid of, or if you need to actually create a space for that item. So this will take time and it's not going to be perfect, but when we can look at each individual thing, focus on small areas at a time. So if you notice that one cabinet needs to be organized, don't focus on the entire room. Focus on just that one cabinet and get that one cabinet organized in a way that works for you and your family, and then move on to something else. Do this in little small portions so that it's not overwhelming. And over time, you will find that you get more and more organized, and your house continues to stay more and more tidy because you start to put these habits into place and they get easier to maintain. The third habit is to change your mindset about just getting rid of things. This is a huge thing when we have a tendency to hold on to stuff, whether we have a home for it or not, or we are just collecting things and we're not taking the time to go through them and get rid of them. So, this could be anything from pens that don't work, clothes that aren't fitting anymore, kitchen appliances or utensils that we just never use. It might be books that are crowding your bookshelf that you have no intention of ever reading, or those linens and blankets that are stacked up and taking space and kind of piling up and falling out of the cupboard when you open it, but you actually haven't used those in years. So it's things like that where we want to just look at it and it's like, if we're not using this item, just get rid of it. Or if it doesn't work, just get rid of it. So this might be, if it's still a good item, you can toss it in your donation box because we should all have one of those, whether it's in your basement, in your garage, wherever you keep it. We want to have a donation box that when we're looking at these things, we can just grab them, toss them in the donation box and be done with it, get them out of our house so that we don't have to worry about it, and it's still going to be put to good use with somebody else and that somebody else that needs it. So we want to get rid of these things. If it doesn't work anymore or if it's not worth donating, then just toss it. Get it out of your house because then it's also going to create more space for you to create a home for what you do need. And it's going to be easier to put things away because it's not going to feel so crowded. The fourth habit is to reset your space before walking away. Now, this is any area of your home in pretty much any situation. It could be your kitchen. We've talked about this a lot where we can reset our kitchen after each meal. It could also be your office or your desk, just resetting that space. So when you come back to your office, it feels good and refreshing, and you don't feel like you're sitting down into a mess and you have a hard time concentrating. So we want to just reset, just organize things, shift things around, straighten things up, get rid of any, dishes or cups or mugs that you might have around, things like that. Put your notebooks and your notes away and just reset the space before you walk away. This could also be for your bedroom, like those clothes that you're changing. Just make sure they're hung up or put away somewhere or they're put in the laundry hamper, and you reset your space before you walk out of the room because then when you walk back into the room, you're not walking into a mess and it just feels more refreshing when you're walking into that space. And having that habit of not putting it down but putting it away is going to help you to maintain this much easier because you're going to start finding that it's a lot easier to quickly reset a space because you don't have as much laying around and you have a home for everything now, that it's easier to put those things away quickly. This is also for the bathroom. If you are, walking through the bathroom and you kick the rugs and they get kind of messy, just reset the rugs before you walk out. It takes like literally 2 seconds to just straighten the rugs. If you are drying your hands on the hand towel, instead of getting it all floppy and making it kind of messy or tilted or whatever, just dry your hands. And while you're drying your hands, refold the towel and hang it up. It's things like that where we're just being conscientious of what we're doing and just resetting it before we walk out. And eventually, you won't even think about doing this. Like you're just going to do it automatically. It's not going to feel like you're constantly, cleaning or tidying or anything like that. It's just going to be something you do and the way that you live. It makes so much sense and it helps to maintain that tidy home at all times. The other spot is like your living room. Like after that movie night that we were talking about, make sure you're resetting those blankets or you are making sure the coffee table is cleared off or the couch cushions are kind of fluffed and things like that or the pillows are reset. You're also looking at if you're working out in the living room and you moved some furniture to do your workout or you have your mat out or you have your weights out, things like that. Just put them away, before you walk away from the space so you don't have to go back and clean that up later. It's those things to just make sure you're resetting your space before you're walking away. So these small habits throughout the day can make a huge, huge difference in maintaining that tidy home and making it easier to clean our home when it's time to do those deeper cleans. Because when it's time to clean, you don't have to do all the tidying first because you've been doing that automatically over time throughout your day. Or at least if there is something to tidy before you start cleaning, it's at least minimal and you don't have to do as much before you get into the cleaning process. So it makes it so much easier to clean your home because all you have to do then is just pull out your cleaners and start just wiping everything down because you don't have to go through the process of resetting and putting everything away all at once. And these are habits that you can do yourself, but also you can help start teaching others in your family. Like Tony and I both do these things, and over time, we have just gotten better and better. And he sees me doing something and he starts to kind of mimic what I'm doing. I see him doing something and I start to mimic what he's doing. So we want to be aware of having good habits that we're doing because we will start mimicking each other a little bit. So if you are constantly doing something, you might find that your family just starts repeating that, or you can talk to them about this and see how you can do it together and start to create these habits. You can teach it to your children, and eventually, over time, it is going to take some time to get used to it because you have to be aware of doing it. But over time, it will get better and it will start to improve, and you'll soon start realizing that you're living this way without even thinking about it. And it just makes things so much easier. But in the beginning, we do have to be very intentional about choosing these habits and practicing them over and over. So I will recap those 4 habits for you to help you have a tidy living space. Is number 1, don't put it down, put it away. You can just kind of chant that in the back of your mind when you're going through your house. Just don't put it down, put it away. Number 2 is create a home for everything. Number 3, change your mindset about just getting rid of it. And number 4, reset your space before walking away. And these will help you, I guarantee it, that will help you to maintain that tidier home so that we can feel like we're company ready all the time. And not even if you are expecting company, but to just feel good about the state of your home and feel proud of where you live and not embarrassed if somebody stops by unexpectedly. So, this is a way that we can do that. And I hope this is helpful for you. So, if you want to leave a review, please take the time to do that in your podcast app. You can leave a rating and a review, especially in Apple Podcasts. You can write a review where I can actually see those. And I love getting those. And I am so grateful for you to take the time to do that. Like I said, you can also leave an audio review like Margot did in the beginning of this episode. And you can do that at speakpipe.com/the routine advantage podcast, or you can go to the show notes and get the link. I will see you back here for the next episode. Did you love that episode or learn something useful? If so, would you do me a huge favor? My goal is to grow this podcast and help as many women as I can break free from the overwhelm so they can truly enjoy their life. The best way for me to do this is for you to leave a 5-star written review on your podcast app and to share this episode with a friend or in your Instagram stories. I appreciate you being here. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you on the next episode. Take care.